Support for this podcast and the following message come from Cyber Policy, helping protect small businesses against cyber attacks with the first end-to-end solution that combines cyber planning, security, and insurance customized for small business. Visit cyberpolicy.com for a custom quote in just 4 minutes.
Thanks for tolerating another year of Car Talk. Now, our show wouldn't be possible without your local public radio station, but don't hold that against them. They also bring you lots of good shows, and they could use your help before the end of the year. You can find your station at stations.npr.org, and then it'll take you just a minute to contribute a few bucks. Tell them Car Talk sent you, or you're donating despite Car Talk. But thanks. Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers. We're broadcasting this week from the otolaryngology department here at Car Talk Plaza. What's this about?
Well, we got an interesting letter this week that I think you have to address. I mean, this is controversy that you have created, and as your loving older brother, it's my responsibility to dump it right in your lap.
Okay.
All right, well, just listen to this. Here's a letter. We got it from a guy named Robert Hensler, who says the following. Snorting is distracting. The editor of the show may want to consider not using the recorded snort every few seconds on the show. Once I spotted it as an introduced production feature, I seem to hear it all the time. It's the same snort over and over. I now find it's very distracting. Shame on you for using a canned sound effect like that on your show. Please stop. So why are we inserting that fake snort all the time?
It's not a fake snort. It's real. We don't do anything fake on this show.
No.
We would never, ever use a pre-record. Geez, you know, Robert might be onto something. Pre-recorded snort might not be a bad idea. The snort track. It's like a laugh track, but kind of takes it up a notch, you know? Does anyone else in the business use a snort track?
Well, no one at NPR.
Well, of course not.
Stop!
Is that what I sound like?
Evidently. So cut it out, all right?
Oh, God. I'm just trying to have fun here, you know? Anyway, if you have a question about your car or your ear, nose,
You
or
can't
throat,
have fun at the expense of everybody else.
No?
It's not nice.
Well, I even went to see my friend Dr. Franco at Mass Eye and Ear because I was having snorting issues. And he said, don't worry about it. Anyway, if you want to call us, our number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Bob from Queens.
Hey, Bob from Queens.
Queens.
What's going on, man?
Okay, I got a 94 Geo Prism. Simple problem, I think. Simply explained anyway. Temperature gets to 32 degrees and below, car doesn't start. Above 32, like 33, 34, the car turns over like there's no problem.
So what happens when it doesn't start? It just goes,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think it's the starter. It seems like it wants to turn over, but it doesn't. I've replaced the battery. I put dry gas in the tank. I checked the antifreeze. I don't know. What can it be?
So you haven't had anyone. I imagine this has been doing this for a while. The car's at 94. Did it just start?
Oh, no, it's several winters now. See, the thing is, I just don't use the car. But I really don't need the car now. I'm retired. I only put about 400 to 500 miles a year on the car now.
Really?
Oh.
I'm guessing mostly in the spring and summer, right?
Yeah. I just use it to go to the grocery store or the shopping mall.
And when it doesn't start, you say, what the heck, right?
How many miles are on this thing now?
Only 83,000 miles.
Have you ever, changed the spark plugs or anything like that?
See, that was done about 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
Oh, it was.
Tune-up about 3-4 years ago, yeah.
Is the problem really that clearly defined at 32? I mean, might it start at 32 but not at 31? Or is it always 32 degrees?
Well, maybe I'm exact.
Yeah, when it gets cold.
Yeah, it's around freezing. Freezing. Yeah.
Around freezing. Well, there are a lot of things that can cause this. I mean, there are a lot of serious things, and I'm going to give you the most serious one first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that you have low compression.
But at 83,000 miles, is that a common problem?
No, it isn't a common problem. So it's likely to be something else. So this is fuel injected, this engine.
Yes.
So it's likely to be maybe a sensor that's faulty. Okay, and it could be something as simple as the engine temperature sensor. Faulty and dirty injectors could cause that. If the injector spray pattern isn't adequate, then it doesn't vaporize the fuel enough. Will it start in the summer and the fall? Sure, because almost anything will start. My brother's car runs in the summer.
You're not kidding.
That's pretty old.
So winter always complicates things because if the gasoline isn't vaporized enough and more of it condenses on the cold cylinder walls when in wintertime, then your chances of getting it started are smaller. Have you ever tried any extreme measures, like throwing a lit newspaper under the hood when you were trying to start it? Yeah. Well, there are things called starting fluid. Have you ever seen that stuff? It's basically ether in a can.
Yeah. I think I used to use that when I had an older car than this, much older.
Oh, really?
Carburetor.
So how many cars have you owned in your lifetime? You're retired now, so you must be what? You're 67?
No. Actually, I'm just turned 60.
Just turned.
About to be 60.
Good.
Well,
so you retired. You early retiree. You work for the post office?
You're good. Very good. Yeah.
So you
did.
you retired from the post office. The legs gave out, huh?
I admit to the crime.
So you retired from the post office at age 60. Pretty good country, huh?
Yeah. Hey. My wife's still working though.
Well, that's. Boy, we're gonna hire you for your laugh. We love your laugh. Well, look, so you got a few bucks because your wife was working. Take this thing someplace, have them do a compression test, and have them test a couple of the sensors and maybe pull out an injector and see if the thing is, got a reasonable pattern. And they may figure out pretty easily what's going on with it.
Okay, will this be costly? Or?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget there are a lot of factors that go into starting a cold engine. If the starter, you said the starter motor's all right, the battery's all right, but you may not know that for sure.
Yeah.
If the thing is cranking slowly, it may sound all right to you, but it may not be cranking fast enough to start. If the injectors aren't spraying the right pattern, it may be all right in warm weather, but not all right in cold weather.
But it does sound right to you. You turn the key, and it goes.
Yeah.
It does. Okay.
Yep. No question about that.
Well, I'm sticking with bad compression. So that would be the first thing I would do. I would have the compression checked just to make sure. So wait until April or so when it starts and drive it over to somebody.
Okay.
Good luck, Bob.
Thank you very much, guys. Take
care.
Okay.
Bye. Hey, I snorted.
Oh.
Uh-oh. I'm going to be self-conscious.
I don't notice it.
No?
I had no idea until I read that letter.
Did you notice I was naked today? See what happens?
I didn't notice that either.
888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255.
Stop it.
Well, I think a snort is the next level up from laughing. I mean, when
is that it?
Yeah, when you snort, you're really enjoying a good laugh. I mean, a good laugh is like,
yeah,
but a real good laugh is, I think that's the essence of a class 10 laugh.
Wow.
A snort.
It's interesting how little you notice if you're not paying attention.
888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Susan from Manchester, New Hampshire.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
Manchester.
Good. I have a 2004 Scion XB.
Okay.
And I dropped my wedding band down in, I don't know, I guess it's the steering column, a little crack, because I had the steering wheel all the way down and in. I took it off to put some hand cream on because I'm a visiting nurse, and I dropped it, and it fell down in there. And I'm hoping.
Oh, is this the little crack between the rest of the column and the wheel? In other words, when you turn the wheel, there's a crack right there that you can see right behind the steering wheel. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's probably sitting in a place now where it is not likely
it will
to
never be seen again.
How important was this ring?
It was my wedding band.
Oh, you're still married?
Yeah.
For now, anyway.
Oh, and you took it off because you were putting hand cream on.
Yeah.
I guess that's a reason.
Yeah.
Sure.
So has it been noticed, by the way, that it's missing?
Oh, yes.
How long did it take your husband to notice this?
Oh, I told him.
But if you hadn't,
Yeah.
how long do you think it might have taken?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Quite a while, perhaps. I'm not sure.
I'm always, when you live with somebody for a long time, things go unnoticed.
Yeah.
That's true.
For example, if I get a haircut,
Your wife never knows.
never notices it. I've had occasions where I have shaved off a beard that I had for like 5-6 years.
She didn't notice.
She didn't notice. So he might not have noticed, but so there have been no repercussions because.
Well, he wants to go down into there now. He said, I'll get it out.
Yeah.
He wants to take a piece of wire and go fishing around down in there. But
Bad idea. Yeah, bad idea. I think
Because he might put it somewhere that you can't get it.
So it didn't fall out of the car? It's still in there?
No, it's still in the car. What he needs to do is take off the 2 pieces of plastic that surround all that mess of switches. You have that switch that controls your headlights, your directionals, your windshield, and all that. Those switches are covered by 2 pieces of plastic, one from the top and one from the bottom. And I bet you if you remove the screws from the bottom that hold that bottom piece.
And you peek inside.
I think when you remove that, the ring's going to fall out.
Oh, good.
Now, alternatively, if you wanted to be lazy, what I would do is I would
turn the car upside down.
Or you might want to try tapping that with the heel of your hand, and you may be able to even hear the ring bouncing around in there when you do that. And if you're lucky, it might just bounce right out, or short circuit the wiper switch. And I would, and blow up the airbag. All kinds of exciting stuff can happen. But I would take that plastic off. It's easy.
That sounds good. I freaked out when it happened, and I started moving the steering wheel up and down and in and out. And
maybe if you take some sharp turns, it might come flying out. But you'd like to do it under controlled circumstances. So take off that plastic, and that piece will fall right out.
Oh, thank you.
All right,
Good
Susan.
luck. Let us know how it works.
Okay.
All right, let us know how many things you burn out. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Uh-oh, I did it again.
Oh.
You
did. I don't even notice it.
Okay, from now on, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
You give the number.
Well, you know what? I need a stick. So every time you do it, I whack you in the head.
A snort stick. Okay, I can't talk. You have to do all the talk. Give the number.
Okay, I don't know the number.
888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Alan in Denver.
Hi, Alan in Denver. What's going on, man?
Well, before we discuss my car, I am by profession an ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Ah, really?
And I understand Ray's having a snorting or airway issue.
Yeah.
An airway issue. Is that what that's called?
Yeah, I think maybe you ought to see a doctor.
Well, I have.
Okay.
Oh, really?
What do you think it is?
No, the concern is you could have sleep apnea or something like that. It's probably just your uvula or something in the back of your throat, but maybe it should be looked at.
Oh, I was going to have that uvula thing removed. You don't need that, do you?
Some do, some don't.
Some do and some don't. I have snorted my whole life.
Then I guess I'd give you a pass on it.
If I snort for you, can you give me some more information? I mean, obviously, without a full examination, I'd hate to put you on the spot, Doc.
I'm supposed to tell you the sound my car's making, and you're supposed to tell me.
Well, you can do that later. This is more important. So listen to this, and let me know if you think I have a problem.
That's pretty serious.
That's our pet pig.
In my medical opinion, it sounds bad, and I don't know what it is.
All right, you're off the hook. Do you have a question about your car now?
Yes. The problem I have is that my 2004 Lincoln Aviator is starting to sound like my mother.
Oh, and how so?
Well, my mother, who's 83 years old, is too polite to ever complain about my driving, and she does a couple of things when I'm trailing behind people too closely for her comfort. One is she'll sit in the front seat and stamp her foot on the floor as if she's hitting the brake repeatedly.
Yes, we do that when my brother drives.
But the second thing she does is that if you still don't slow down or you're trailing too closely, she'll start making this kind of whooping noise. She'll kind of go whoop, whoop.
Really?
Oh, that's like a sonar alert. Right?
Yeah.
So there's the whooping increase in frequency as you get closer and closer. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I think it does.
Oh.
But a few months ago, this started happening in my car. As I was driving my car, and usually it's on a warm afternoon, I'll hear over my right shoulder this kind of intermittent whoop, kind of noise, and I look back, and I'm looking for Gladys in the back seat, and she's not there. She lives 2,000 miles away. It sounds like it's coming from the gas tank area, and it seems to happen more on warm afternoons when the gas tank's about two-thirds full.
Right.
And I'm wondering if it's anything serious or something totally benign.
It might be totally benign.
And it just happens once.
It'll happen maybe 3 or 4 times in succession and then stop.
Okay.
Oh, and it's loud enough so that you can hear it even at highway speed.
Yes.
It sounds like there's something wrong with your evaporative emission system. And you know what happens, and you described it, the tank is close to full, the gasoline expands. When it expands, it also creates pressure, which pushes the vapor that's in the tank into this canister. And the canister might not be able to take the pressure. There's a pressure relief valve, and it's supposed to be able to hold this pressure, and if it can't, it'll let it out. It's kind of like passing gas.
So to speak.
So to speak.
It is gas.
And I'm surprised that your check engine light hasn't come on. Or has
No,
it?
it never has.
It never
has.
I mean, it may be something benign. I mean, it's not necessarily going to affect the way the thing runs, but if it's not doing its job in keeping the vapors in check and keeping them contained within the system, then it's allowing these vapors to escape into the atmosphere. And you don't want that to happen because it's creating pollution. The whole system was designed to prevent this from happening, and you're letting it happen, so you got to get it fixed.
Okay, so I'll get my gas tank checked out, and you'll get your throat checked out, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, and by the way, I think my snort is more a nasal snort.
Okay.
Just...
There are some people who just kind of do this stuff habitually, and they don't have any organic pathology.
I like that. Well, I'm an organic gardener. Does that... Alan,
we'll hope for that.
Okay.
Thanks for your help. I'm
Thanks
sure you helped me more than we helped you.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, look, before we give the answer to last week's puzzle, we have to take a short break so we can go to the Little Mechanics Room.
We'll be right back. The Little Mechanics Room.
Step on the gas and my car won't go. Step on the gas and my car won't go. Gotta pick up my baby, she's waiting by the door. Gotta pick up my baby, she's waiting by the door. Gotta pick up my baby, she's waiting by the door. I don't pick up my baby, she'll find herself on the road. Well, I'm down on my luck, up them car won't go blues. Down on my luck, up them car won't go blues. Gotta pick up my baby before she blows the fuse.
And even though cats carefully cover their radios with kitty litter whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Tire Rack. Now, if you're like me and you own a car, you've probably done something dumb to it. Like the time I ran out of oil and used a quart of Filippo Berio extra virgin olive oil as a substitute. Well, Tire Rack makes it easy to be smart when it comes to your tires. At TireRack.com, you can look up the correct tires for your car and pick the best ones based on ratings and reviews. Plus, your new tires can be delivered in as little as 1 business day to a recommended local installer. So even if you forget to release the parking brake or send your brother's 65 AMC Ambassador to the crusher, you can still redeem yourself by getting the right tires. TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install smarter. Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, here to talk about cars, car repair, and the answer to last week's puzzle. And here it is.
Yeah.
You paying attention?
I'm listening.
A lone hijacker commandeers a jetliner
3 parachutes
on its way from Boston to L.A.
Yeah.
At gunpoint, he instructs the pilot to land the plane at O'Hare in Chicago, whereupon he further instructs the pilot to call the authorities and tell them that the hijacker wants $1 million in cash, Cindy Crawford, and 3 parachutes. If they do this, he'll let half the hostages go. They negotiate. He drops the Cindy Crawford demand, and the money and the 3 parachutes are delivered.
Yeah.
The hijacker sets half the hostages free. The plane then takes off, headed for L.A. After an hour or so, he tells the pilot to drop down to a lower altitude. He opens the door. Attached to one parachute is the suitcase with the $1 million in it. Attached to the other parachute is he, and he jumps out over the wilds of Montana, someplace where he's intending to meet an accomplice. As luck would have it, he gets hit by a speeding motorist.
Yeah.
The question is, what's with the third parachute? I mean, he clearly needed one parachute for himself.
Yeah.
He clearly needed one parachute for the money.
Cindy Crawford.
Well, no, they had already unnegotiated the Cindy Crawford.
Oh, they
thing.
did.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, the authorities knew that he needed one parachute for the money, and they knew that he needed one parachute for himself.
Yeah.
And they had to assume the third parachute was for a hostage. Therefore, they could not run the risk of rigging the parachutes. Otherwise, they'd give him two parachutes that had holes in them.
Of course.
And he'd put the money in one and himself in the other and plunge to his death. But they couldn't take the chance. That's why he asked for the extra parachute. They didn't know who would get it. Yes, he was.
And wasn't it bad luck that
he got run over?
Montana driver
Hey,
whacked him on the highway.
It just goes to show you that sometimes reasonable and prudent is not reasonable and prudent. And who's our winner this week?
Our winner is John Mountford from Ballston Lake, New York. And for having his correct answer chosen at random this week, John gets a $25 gift certificate to the Car Talk Shameless Commerce Division, with which he can get our latest 4-CD set featuring 4 of our all-time favorite shows.
And what's that collection called?
It's called Field Guide to the North American Wacko.
And who better to identify that North American wacko than the president of the Mutual Aid Society, my brother?
That's right. Congratulations, Matt.
We'll have a new puzzler coming up in the third half of the show, so stay tuned. In the meantime, if you have a car question, we're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Laverne from, this is Alon from Laverne, California.
Elan from Laverne, California. Where's Laverne, California?
It's near Raging Waters, a famous water park here in Southern California.
What large metropolitan area is it near?
So it'd be in Los Angeles County.
Oh, L.A. County, okay.
I have a 2000 Tacoma, and it's a 4x4, and it's making a cricket sound, I think along the transmission somewhere. And when I press the clutch in just a little bit, the sound goes away.
Oh.
And it's annoying, and it's been for months.
Did you relocate to Southern California?
No, I actually bought this vehicle from a person from Texas, though. So I was born and raised in Laverne.
So you bought a 4-wheel drive vehicle for what reason?
We go up to the mountains almost probably 40 days a year. So.
And the mountains have snow on them, huh?
Yes, lots of snow. Mammoth is our 5 hours away, and it's a great mountain.
So you're a skier. You don't just go up there to slide around in the snow and get
No,
stuck.
definitely
Because that's what I would do. I would drive up to the mountains just to get stuck.
Yeah.
You go to ski? No, I just wanted to get stuck and see if I could get out.
Well,
all right. So I guess you need 4-wheel drive. And the noise you're hearing is when you step on the clutch.
Just a little bit. Even.
Just a little bit. And what's the noise like again?
It's a cricket. It's like it's a really annoying cricket sound.
And is it a noise that you can make absolutely go away if you step on the clutch harder?
Exactly. It'll go away if I just even a millimeter down.
So how many miles do you have on this thing?
We are now up to 168,000.
Oh, so I don't feel bad telling you that very soon you're likely to need a clutch.
I actually did that at 120, and that's why I'm really surprised this noise is coming.
I feel very bad about telling you that you very soon you're actually going to need a clutch. Oh.
Oh, no.
Well, it's most likely to be the clutch release bearing.
Okay.
When the clutch release bearing first makes contact with the fingers of the clutch, that is when you gently step on the pedal, that's when you're getting the noise. Okay? And then when you further engage or rather disengage the clutch by pressing more on the pedal and forcing this bearing into those rotating fingers, the noise goes away. Now, so it's likely that that's what it is, but there's a possibility that it is the pivot point on the fork. It might be that when you first step on it, that fork, which rests on a little metal ball, is oscillating
vibrating
back and forth and making that squeaking noise.
I would forget about it.
Well, you could forget about it, but it's bothering him.
Well, you have very little occasion to put your foot lightly on the clutch. Put your foot on the clutch and do something. Don't just rest your foot.
Don't just sit there.
Yeah. Push the thing down. You'll never hear it again. So I think you forget about it.
Well, I tend to agree with that. Oh, I hate to agree with my. Well, here's what you can do.
You hate to agree.
I hate to agree with my brother. I really do. Look at alone. Take the thing to your shop and ask them if they can lubricate the pivot on the clutch fork, because you think that may be the cause of the problem. And if that doesn't solve it,
forget about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
See you later. Don't break a leg
and
skiing.
you know what? I noticed the snort just a couple weeks ago, and it's not annoying at all. And I don't think you should be self-conscious at all.
I'm starting to get a snort complex. Jeez. Okay. Well, I'm glad you don't. I'm glad you're not bothered by it.
Appreciate it.
See you. Thanks for your call. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good luck.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Ariel from Portland, Oregon.
Hi, Ariel.
I saw your movie. It was great.
Gee, thanks.
Portland, Oregon?
Yes.
Okay, we're with you.
And I am considering shopping for a new car, and I do not know what to do. I don't know what to take to a test drive. Do I need to bring, the deed to my firstborn child, or what questions should I ask?
Oh, you've never bought a car before?
No.
Have you ever owned a car before?
Yeah.
They were hand-me-downs?
Yes, exactly.
Ah.
Jeez.
Well, you don't need to bring anything with you except your driver's license.
Okay.
And I guess a big bruiser to knock the guys around when they try to force you to do something you don't want to do.
Are they going to try to force me to buy a car?
Oh, you can count on it.
Yeah, especially if they know they have a live one. How desperate are you for a car?
Well, not at all, actually. I'm just trying to get the process rolling so I don't seem stupid when I really do need a car.
And have you narrowed it down? I mean, do you have some idea what you would like to own?
Something relatively cheapish and reliable. I think the Volkswagen Jettas are completely cute.
Have you figured out a color yet?
Silver.
Silver.
So you've thought about this.
Yes, but I can't afford one at the exact moment. I just don't want to be taken advantage of when I finally do show up.
Oh, so you're a change kind of project here.
Yes.
Oh, great. So, I mean, it's like, have you ever shopped for clothing?
Once or twice.
What a stupid question. It's sort of the same process.
Okay.
You go in and you start roaming around and looking at things, and someone says, "Can I help you?" And you say, "No, I'm just looking, thanks very much." Except the difference is that you'll find claws attached to your shoulders at that point.
No, and here's the big difference. Looking around in an automobile dealership is one thing. Test driving a car puts you on another level.
Yeah.
They know you're not just looking if you're test driving. So before you get in the car, understand that
Make sure your papers are in order.
Right.
Your affairs are in order, because you may never come back.
Yeah, you have gone to another level once you get in the car.
Okay.
And understand that you may not be able to come home unless you sign on the dotted line. So be prepared. But you're not prepared. But you just want to drive this car because you think that in a year or two you're going to be ready for a silver Jetta.
Exactly.
Ah. Well, then go ahead and take a couple of test drives. One thing I would admonish you about is don't let them think that you have a trade-in.
Okay.
Because one of the tricks of the automobile dealerships is that once you decide that you're going to drive their car, they decide they're going to drive your car. Mm-hmm. And so they say...
Figuring that if you don't return with their $20,000 car, they'll keep your $800 car, and you'll be like even.
Right. But they won't let you drive the car alone. The salesman will come with you, and he said, "I'll have my used car man take a look at your car while we're out driving, and then when you come back and say, okay, that was fun, I think I'll go home now," they'll say, "Well, we can't find your car." And right. I mean, there have been incidents, especially
Murray's junkyard.
A couple of dealerships around here in the Boston area have been known to keep people's cars from them for hours, and it's not just around here. It happens everywhere.
And during that time, they keep you in the showroom, and they keep turning the heat up and shining the bright lights on you and turning the screws.
Yeah.
Until you finally say, okay, I'll buy the thing.
So as long as you don't tell them that you have a trade-in, so tell them you got there by bus or someone dropped you off.
Make sure you take the keys to your car with you.
And make sure you take the keys to your car with you. And when you come back from the test drive, you can then say, "Thank you very much. I'll think about it."
Okay.
Great. Have a wonderful time.
Don't be afraid to say no.
Okay.
Good luck, Ariel.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. You know the best kind of test drive to take is to rent the car for a weekend.
Yeah.
That's a real nice
well,
test drive.
if you can get away with the dealer plates on it.
Right, there you
can
go.
Come back after a weekend.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, this is Jerry in Kearney, Arizona.
Jerry with a G or a J?
With a G.
No kidding.
I'm surprised you asked.
In Kearney, Arizona.
Kearney, Arizona. It's hard to find on a map. We're 8 miles north of Winkleman.
That now.
And if you wink, you'll miss Winkleman.
That narrows it right down.
Right.
That's great.
So what's going on, Jerry, with a G?
Well, I've got a car. We've got a 1972 Pontiac Grandville convertible.
No kidding.
The guy who originally bought it was trying to outfit it to pull an Airstream trailer. So it's got this 455 cubic inch V8 and the towing package for the the high dissipation radiator and all that other goodies.
Just tell me one thing. Have you ever gotten mileage in 2 digits?
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah,
Downhill?
In fact, it averages about 11 miles to a gallon.
Just made it. That's
okay.
good.
So our assumption when we bought the car was, gee, this huge engine, big cooling system, it ought to run nearly forever. But now we've got a problem where we're thinking maybe we've reached nearly forever.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. We've got several really steep mountain divides that we have to go through when we go someplace.
Yeah.
And the car starts going ping, 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 and then as the steeper the hill gets, it goes bing, 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 and then pretty soon it sounds like Yahtzee dice.
You prepared for this one.
Well, all of the local mechanics here in Kearney I've talked with, which is Butch and Sister.
Yeah, Butch and Sister.
Sister's opinion is that the quality of fuel we currently get from the different gasoline companies has slowly but steadily been declining.
Yeah,
it's possible.
And that her point is that we have to start using octane booster or something like that in this car, and we're putting premium gas in it to begin with, and to put another $3 to fill up in on octane booster, it's starting to get to the point where maybe we need to find an alternative means of transportation.
Well, how high is the octane of the stuff you're buying?
Well, it says 92 on the pump.
Yeah.
And we've noticed that if we put octane booster from STP in, it reduces the pinging, but not completely.
And did this start happening gradually?
Yeah, just in the last 3 or 4 months it started happening.
And Sister and Butch haven't done anything in the way of timing to the vehicle during that time?
They have, but there's a compromise they have to make. I guess if they time it so it doesn't ping,
it doesn't run.
Then it idles really rough.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, well, in a nutshell, here's the deal.
Okay.
First of all, Sister is right. This car was designed to run on 97 plus octane.
Okay.
And you can't buy that anymore, except if you buy the octane boost. But even that, at $6 a pop, doesn't actually do the trick.
Mm-hmm.
They can retard the timing, but they should, first of all, check to see if, for example, you have a stuck centrifugal advance. But I suspect you don't.
Okay.
And I'm going to cut right to the chase. What you need to do is you need to have somebody fashion for you a water injection system for this car.
Oh, what?
I like it. What you have is excessive buildup of carbon and crud on your pistons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's happening is because you have this buildup of carbon on the pistons, your compression ratio is even higher than the manufacturer ever intended it to be.
Uh-oh.
And that's causing additional pinging.
Okay.
I like it.
Now, if I ask Butch or Sister about a water injection...
They will certainly know.
They will know what
They might. Diesel engines use it, and they might be able to fashion something.
Mm-hmm.
Alternatively, you could try to find a manifold, an intake manifold from a later model Grandville, or whatever later model 455, rather, that has an EGR valve.
EGR valve.
Yeah.
Exhaust gas recirculation.
And you want to retrofit this engine so it has EGR, and that will reduce the pinging.
Okay. If we don't do anything to stop the ping, does it start to burn the valve?
It'll burn the pistons. It'll burn holes in the pistons.
Right.
And so you've got to do something about it.
A little pinging is okay on the steeper hills, but if it's pinging as badly as you represent it with your shaking of the Yahtzee dice, then that's bad, and that'll wreck your engine.
Oh, okay.
So you can try retarding the time in which they've done. You can try water injection to to clean out the things. You can try other chemicals introduced into the gasoline to clean off the pistons. Try getting a manifold that has an EGR system.
EGR valve. So,
and ask Sister to make sure that all the advanced mechanisms are working.
Well, it runs fine on the freeway at 70.
Well, yeah, I suspect that stuff is okay.
All right.
Good luck, Jerry.
Good luck, Jerry.
Well, thanks a lot.
See you.
Bye-bye.
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 Hey, I always worry about you a little bit this time of year.
You do? Why?
Well, the days are getting shorter, less sunlight, stuff like that. It's pretty clear that you suffer from SAD.
Seasonal affective disorder?
No, stupid answer disorder.
We'll be back with a brand new puzzler in just a minute.
If she wasn't on block.
To prune the family tree whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
Thanks for listening to Car Talk. For music games, puzzles, and trivia of all sorts, check out Ask Me Another. Ask Me Another. It's like trivia night, but without the overpriced drinks. Play along now at npr.org/podcast and on the NPR One app. Ha! We're back listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and, of course, the new old puzzler.
Yeah.
Here it is. Imagine the scene. A fellow's driving across the desert in Nevada when all of a sudden he finds himself in urgent need of a haircut. He says, I got to take a wicked haircut. I'll never make it to the next exit. So he finds himself in desperate need of a haircut. He takes the next exit, exit 411, a little one-horse town named...
Horsetown.
One Horse. Nevada. And as luck would have it, in One Horse, Nevada, there are 2 barbershops. So he has to decide which one to go to for his haircut. Our traveler goes to barbershop number 1 and looks in the window. There are no customers in the barbershop. The barbershop is kind of messy. And even the barber, who is the only one in the place, is kind of messy, too. He's unshaven. He has a lousy shirt on. There's hair on the floor. And even his haircut is lousy. The guy says to himself, maybe I should check out the other barbershop in One Horse. He moseys along, which is what you do in One Horse, Nevada. If you were there, you'd have to mosey because there's nothing else to do. He arrives at barbershop number 2, looks in the window, looks terrific. It's nice and neat and clean. The mirrors are clean and shiny, no hair on the floor. Even the barber himself looks neat and well-groomed, and he has a great haircut.
And does he have a white little jacket on?
Of course, with the comb and the scissors in the pocket.
And the scissors, yeah.
His name wasn't Mr. Gigi, though. Anyway, the question very simply is, based on the information that you have, which barbershop do you think he goes to? And why? There you go. And if you think you know the answer, write it on the back of one of those nice, new, spacious $20 bills and send it to us at Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt, 02238, or you can send money electronically, although we prefer this method, by writing your answer on a $20 bill and emailing it to cartalk.com.
We have said for many years, write it on the back of a $20 bill. And we get in the mail the other day, look at this, a $20 bill, a real $20 bill.
You sure?
And Daniel Trey from Emmitsburg, Maryland. I know it's him because he put a little stickum on the corner with his return address. And right over Andrew Jackson's face, he writes, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, Post Office Box, Harvard Square, da-da-da-da-da-da. And in the right corner, he puts a stamp right onto the $20 bill, and on the back, the answer to the puzzler. Now, the magic of this is not that he sent it.
It's that nobody stole it. It's that Ken Rogers didn't steal it.
and it's miraculous enough that it made it all the way from Maryland to Cambridge, Massachusetts. But to have made it through the offices of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, that's an even bigger miracle than anything. Just to let you know, it can be done.
Yes, and for all those companies that say don't send cash, they say you can pay by check. Or
only cash.
We take cash.
We accept only cash. So if you want to do this, it is possible. And if everyone within the sound of my voice sends us a $20 bill in this way, forget about the puzzler. The puzzler's got nothing to do with it. No. You want a T-shirt, we'll send you a lousy T-shirt. You send us the 20, we'll send you the T-shirt. That's a deal. Won't we make out that way?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No, just send us the 20.
Just send us the 20. I don't want to make any promises. I don't want to have the responsibility of finding all those T-shirts.
I'll use this as a bookmark. If you'd like to call us, the number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Steph from Oakland, California.
Steph, as in Stephanie?
As in Stefan.
As in Stefan.
I got it.
Stefan. But you don't want people to think you're a stiffin, so you call yourself just Steph.
It's a long story.
Leave the guy alone, will you?
Sorry. Well, Stefan is a rather pretentious name, you must admit.
Well, it gets more confusing because my real name's Steven, but if you ace off the E-N from the end, it becomes Steph.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Never mind.
Fine. Fine. If that's how it is, that's good.
So what's on your mind?
Well, I have a Mazda Miata.
Yes, I've heard of them.
The kind that comes with the trunk lid, but there's nothing underneath the trunk. Like space.
Like space,
right?
Yeah.
So I keep looking suspiciously at this, spare tire that's in there, the small spare tire that's not nearly small enough to suit me.
Right.
And thinking, wow,
Should I
I'd
leave
really
it
like
out?
to lose that to gain some extra space.
Yeah.
Because, I was going sailing for a couple of days, and, I had to go to the marina and make 3 trips,
Right.
get all the stuff down there.
An extra pair of shoes, you couldn't put them in the trunk, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I know what your question is then. You're wondering how likely is it that you're going to have a flat if you
Yeah.
remove the spare?
Well, you will never get a flat until you take the spare out of that trunk.
And you'll have one the next day.
It's been like 15 years since I've had a flat that I couldn't
Oh,
drive
you
someplace
said it.
and have it fixed.
Steph, that was the worst thing you could have done is to say those words.
Oh, yeah. You just invoked the blowout gods.
So my first thought was I saw the can of aerosol flat fix at the auto supply store. I thought,
yeah.
That sounds too good to be true.
That's smaller than the tire.
Wouldn't it be great if they had one of those tires that you added water to?
Yeah.
Now there's an idea.
Yeah.
Where would you get? Then you have to carry around 5 gallons of water.
Oh, maybe add gas to it. I don't know, but it's just a thought.
Well, that's an interesting idea, isn't it? Since that little can of stuff is in fact smaller than the tire, why not just use the little can of stuff?
Because the can of stuff doesn't always work. Because most of the time usually you don't get a flat tire. Usually when you have a flat, it's because you've had a blowout of some kind. And once the tire comes off the rim or the bead breaks off the rim, it's unlikely that stuff is going to fix it.
The other possibility, of course, is if the space is that valuable to you, take them flat.
Sure.
So you get a flat. Just keep driving.
Drive right on the rims.
No, I mean the truth is you could drive on the rims, and it'll cost you a tire and possibly a wheel.
Yeah, I've seen those guys driving around with the tire flapping.
Well, I've made it a policy that I will never, ever stop to try to change a flat tire. Because I tried to do it once, and just the wind of the semis that were going by me was enough to scare the hell out of me.
Well, he didn't realize that you're supposed to pull over into the breakdown lane.
I did pull over. I pulled over in the fast lane, though.
No, I'll tell you one thing. If you were to leave that spare at home,
you'd have a flat in a day.
No, maybe not. But the paranoia would get you. You would constantly be worried about your tires. You would never once get in the car without walking all around it and surveying each one of the tires. You'd begin to lose your hair. Your teeth would go bad. All kinds of things would happen.
Here's what you do, Steph.
All kinds of things would happen.
Here's what you do, Steph. You go down to your local Miata dealer, and you buy the little luggage rack that fits on the trunk lid. Have you ever seen that?
Uh-huh.
It's chrome, and you can put a nice big milk box on it with bungee cords, and you can fit anything you want on top of it, and you can then keep the tire and not have all this paranoia.
Well, either that or I could get the Continental kit to put the spare tire on the back.
I thought of that, but it was too tacky, and I didn't think you'd like it.
No, why don't you trade in this little sardine can and get a real car?
Oh, get serious. This car is perfect.
It isn't perfect. If it were perfect, he wouldn't be calling us trying to get rid of the spare tire.
Yeah.
The spare tire?
I
Why don't you
the
take one of
idea
the
that
seats out? Take out the passenger seat. I don't know, Steph, but I would be reluctant to take the spare tire out on a long-term basis. I don't even know if I have a spare.
Right.
But I travel with the expectation that I have
it's there.
one.
That's why I think the luggage rack on the back deck, it's really actually very nice. It looks pretty, and it does what you want.
Leave the spare in, buy a little chrome luggage rack.
Oh, yeah,
and
the
it'll
milk
be
box and the bungee cords.
There you go, Steph.
Okay.
Thanks for your call. I can tell you didn't like it, but tough. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Karen from Boston.
Hi, Karen from
Karen,
Boston.
what part of Boston?
Wouldn't you like to know? But let me tell you about my problem.
Go ahead.
2001 Dodge Caravan SE. It runs fine.
An 01
but
Caravan?
If you're riding with me, you're going to look at gauges that read no numbers on the digital. The gas is empty. The engine's cold, and we're going 120 miles an hour. So what do you think my problem is?
Say this again.
So your entire instrument cluster is out.
Not the lights.
Not the lights, but all the gauges don't read.
That's correct.
Yeah, well, it could be a fuse. Have you checked the fuses?
Yes, some people have climbed over different fuse boxes from under the hood to under the...
Yeah, there's one under the dash, there's one under the hood, God knows where else.
So if it's not that, any other idea?
Yeah, you probably need an instrument cluster.
Oh, okay. Clusters of instruments.
You did a cluster. It's one of the fourth day of Christmas. The third day of the cluster of instruments. I don't know, whatever. But I think that's what you need.
Very good.
And the easiest thing to do is just go and buy a used one.
The car's used already, so that makes sense.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah,
if
you have
told
no...
us where you lived, we'd tell you where to go, but not going to tell you now. You probably want to tell us where to go.
Jamaica Plain. You've
Nah,
heard of
too late.
that. Did you guess?
No, we didn't.
JP.
But you typified most Bostonians, I think. Where do you live? You ain't taking that out of me. Anyway.
Wait a minute. Do we know any good junkyards in JP?
They're going fast all over Boston.
No, junkyards are disappearing.
Yeah, land value and environmental development. It's just running that to extinction.
Yeah, get the phone book out. You'll find one. But your mechanic's going to find one. Take it to your local gas station, the place where you get your vehicle service, and tell them you think you need an instrument cluster.
Very good. Thank you for that great tip. I'm so knowledgeable now.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Until
well,
I find
happy
out
holidays. Are you going to deck your tree with something car talk?
I'm going to deck my brother in a minute. See you, Karen.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-22...
Those JP women. They're interesting, aren't they?
Car Talk. Is it Louis from JP?
Yeah.
Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hey, guys. This is Jeff from Leadville, Colorado. How are you two?
From Leadville.
Yeah, we live up here at about 10,152 feet in the mountains, and it is snowing here.
Yeah.
I have an 85 Subaru DL wagon that I bought for $300. It's kind of an around-town car.
Oh, man.
I called you guys because I didn't want to spend more than I paid for the car to fix the car.
And it's a toll-free call, so far you ain't spent nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Thank
right.
you.
How many miles on this beast?
It's got about 209,000 miles on it. In the summertime, it runs like a champ. But now that it's full-fledged winter up here, whenever it gets colder, it's funny. I fire it up in the morning, let it warm up just for a little bit, a minute, 2 minutes, just so it'll go.
Yeah.
It's carbureted, of course. And as I leave the street, I drive up the hill to the cross street to go to work or go to school. And as soon as I point the car uphill, it starts to kind of sputter. And I have one of the cylinders. I have this terrible exhaust leak that happened after I was going where I shouldn't have gone off-road with it this summer. And I know that one of the cylinders doesn't fire because that exhaust leak tells me so. So it's running on 3 cylinders most of the time, and then once I start going up the hill, then it just kind of putters and sputters to a stop, and it's driving me crazy. Well, I've discovered that I can pull over and take the top to the air cleaner box off, and it's got a little bit of fuel in there that I dry out and just let the air cleaner, I guess, dry out. And then after air cleaner, I guess, dry out. And then after a couple of minutes of that, then it'll get going again.
So, and the other vehicle you drive when you're not driving this beauty?
That's my wife.
Your wife's car?
Yeah, it's a 95. It's a Honda Civic with fuel injection, and it goes just fine. No problem.
Yes.
I have no complaints about
Yes,
Honda.
if you drive a fuel-injected car, all of these things are managed for you by the computer. You don't have to worry about. Back in the old days.
Yeah, the old days when they made your car.
Yeah, and when we first started doing the show back in the 70s, you had to caress and coddle and cater to a car. You couldn't just get in it and drive it. You had to learn how to throw it in neutral when you came to a stoplight so it wouldn't stall out. You had to learn how to feather the gas and gently when you wanted to accelerate from a dead stop. There were all kinds of tricks you had to learn.
Those were the good old days.
They're still the good old days for my brother because he still has a carbureted car. But it could be that your choke is simply set too rich. And what's happening is when you try to accelerate when the engine is not warmed up, the choke hasn't opened enough to let enough air in.
So there's too much fuel, obviously.
Too much fuel.
Then,
right. And then when you let it...
I live 2 miles up, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
need air, man.
You need air, baby. So I think what you need to do is lean out the choke. If you look on the carburetor, I believe there's a choke adjustment on the side. There are 3 screws you have to loosen. You can turn the whole bimetallic gizmo, the housing there that holds the bimetallic strip. And as you do that, you'll see the choke either close more, in which case you're going in the wrong direction, or you'll see it open more, which means you're going in the right direction.
Unfortunately, you have to do this in the snow.
Yeah, in the cold, yeah. I mean,
it's snowing pretty hard.
If you lean out the choke too much, it just won't start. You'll pump the gas and turn the key and it won't start. If you go too rich, it'll start, but it'll flood out. So you have to find a happy medium. And you may have to adjust it like every 2 days. Alternatively, you can install a hand choke.
Like on a motorcycle, right?
Like on a motorcycle,
Exactly.
or I was thinking more a lawnmower. So you start the thing up in the choke position, and then as you see the engine and feel the engine starting to stumble because it's either too rich or too lean, you can adjust the choke and make it leaner. And you say, oh, that did it. It's running better. Or if leaning it out doesn't make it run better, you pull on the thing and make the choke close more and enrichen the mixture, and it'll run better.
Yeah, I just go down to your local auto parts store, and they'll have one.
They will. They'll have a hand choke kit. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They sell them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll say, huh? Oh,
Right?
man.
Good luck, man.
Thank you guys very much.
All right,
Good
thanks
luck.
for your call. Bye-bye.
That's a case where it's simple, but he's never going to find anyone.
Oh, he'll find the kit.
You think so?
No. Well, it's happened again. You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk.
I have?
Yes, indeed. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Bongo Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our engineer is John Cartman Perotti. Our theme music is by David Dog Risman. And our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from the carnival, all carnivore, caribou, and kangaroo cruise, it's John Bugsy Lawler. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Mark